Well, Al, it was a strange game today. I thought first half you were under the cosh for long spells, but you went in level, and second half you looked the better side for long periods, but ultimately nothing to show for it.
They footballed us off the park for about 30 minutes of the first half. It took us quite a while to readjust, but then we soaked it up and I thought, we were looking to get back in the game, but we got in the game, and that gives us a base to work on from half time. And then second half, after 15 minutes, I honestly thought we could and should have scored another 3 goals. And the difference between that and what result that would have produced and the end result that it did produce in the end, those were the differences. Well, they were some of them, I should say.
What did you change at half time? It looked as though Christian went and played more centrally in maybe a 4-3-3, is that right?
Well, we just gave him a bit more responsibility out of possession. Because it was a game of, passing on. People were passing each other on, and they were passing on without any communication. And you've got to get run ragged if you do that. So you've got to have a bit of belief, you've got to have a bit of communication, you've got to have a bit of structure. And to be fair, they did it. But, I'm looking at the 2 goals we conceded. I've said many times we concede from that little zone outside the penalty box. And we've done it again today. Did it with some, diving in and overcommitting yourself, getting skinned, which resulted in the first goal. And then the second goal, I said weeks and weeks ago, we conceded 17 goals from those sort of situations where we don't go out and press the ball. If you look at the 3 goals that we've conceded in the last 2 games, they've all come from that zone outside. They've all originated from that zone. Which we should shut off, and they know it, and we've just spoke about it now. But knowing it and doing it are 2 different things.
Do you think Oxford should have had a penalty as well when you were getting a little stretched in that final 10 minutes?
I'd have been disappointed if it had been us. I thought it was a penalty, if I'm being perfectly honest. And I could see why they were going mad on the bench, because I thought it was inside. I thought it was a trip inside, but that was one we got away with.
It was Jordan Fagbolu who was involved in that incident. Was there an injury to Matthew at half time?
Yeah, he had an ankle injury. I asked him, is it going to affect his performance in the second half? And he said yes, he thought so. So at that point there was no other answer, other than get him off and put somebody else on.
It's obviously a disappointing result for you today. How do you stop these last 4 games petering out? How do you keep the season alive? How do you keep any kind of tempo and momentum going now?
I think everything is a mentality issue from everybody. Everybody's got to stay positive. Fortunately, there's a bit of leeway between in days between now and the next game, where people can get their head around stuff. But it's not just disappointing; it's mega disappointing. That result today is probably the most disappointing one. I can accept the Charlie one because we had a lot of young players out. Today we had a more experienced team out, and we weathered the storm and got ourselves back in the game. And at that point, then you expect things to grow, and not result in basic mistakes that we've spoken about so many times.
Are there players you think who've given the season up already, or is that a bit unfair to say that?
I hope not. I mean, if you ask it, I don't know what goes on in every player's head, but I'm sure you give up for a certain period of time during the game because your head's not right or whatever, and you need to readjust and refocus. But then you've got to take that on. If players want to progress, you've got to take these disappointments and you've got to rise above it. You've got to get mentally stronger, and you've got to come out scrapping for the next game. It's just really, I don't think it's rocket science to think it's preparing mentally right. I wouldn't like to think that any player has given up. I think people would be disappointed about not getting out of the season what they could and should have done. But whether you can describe it as, I'd be horrified if that was the case, to be honest.
In terms of motivation, obviously you had them fired up at half time. What did you say to them to come out in the second half? Because there did seem to be a change in the mood.
Well, my talk consisted basically of, if you allow a team to put 4 and 5 passes together, they'll go and put 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, and suddenly you get demoralised. So first of all, you've got to stop that, which means a little bit more energy, a little bit more pressure on the ball, and try and reverse the situation, let them make mistakes. It's all about a confidence build, and you know, it's like if people are passing you off the pitch, you've got to go and do something about it. And I thought we did that well for 15 or 20 minutes in the second half. And at that point, we should have got the end result, because we pressed high up the pitch, and we made them make mistakes. There were back passes, bobbly, you know. There was occasions there. I think we had 3 what I would call really good chances, that in other games probably would have buried. Today we didn't. I think it's going to be a costly result.
Are you already determined, envisaging where you're going to make changes for next season? Do you see where those areas are that you want to strengthen?
Yeah, I can see where they are. I think it's there for quite a lot of people to see. I don't think it's hard to work out. You know, there's certain areas of the pitch that need strengthening. You know, with a certain type of player, I think a character issue comes into it. There's all sorts of things built into it. But everybody at this end of the season evaluates what's gone on, what's going on, and they make the judgment call from that point. I'm sure a lot of people are doing that at this moment in time.
Okay, thanks for your time.